to another segment of Excuse Me, Mind Your Business. So, today we're going to talk about the next probably 3 or 4 times segments that are going to be out there. Is going to be about it's time for promotion. Now, it's your time to take your life and get promoted. And and this one specifically is going to be how to properly gain and influence and grow, because everybody has a I'm gonna call it a circle of influence, people that they influence. So how do you expand that circle and become more influential, um, to gain power and to get promoted in that circle? How do you expand your circle so that you can gain influence, gain greater levels of influence? Okay, because with influence is connected to relationships, and when you deal with relationships, that also opens doors for you. Now, that's not from a perspective of selfishness, saying that you're only going to build influence, you're only going to build relationships with people that can pour back into you, that can promote you. That's not what this is about. This is greater than that. This is bigger than that. This is about having the mindset of being an influencer. Uh, that's what this is about. Okay, so we're going to go ahead, and today we're going to talk specifically about an area that impacts uh, most people, and that's the area of gaining more influence in your area of work. Now, regardless of where you work, and some people saying, I don't like my job, stop saying that. Don't curse that's feeding you. Okay? Don't curse the job that's feeding you. So if you could take that out of your vocabulary, that how much you hate your job, and how much you don't like the people and all of that, that is very negative. And it's hard to be an influencer when you're coming from a negative perspective, because what happens is when you're negative, people can feel that, so they don't want to be around you, they don't believe what you're saying. You bring that negativity into the office place, and you don't want to do that. You want to be the one that has a positive flow. So one of the things that the hows, because it's one thing is the why be an influencer, because you want to get promoted, but let's talk about the how to be an influencer. So how you become an influencer is you become selflessness. You think about others first. You put the things that they desire to do, some of the things that they love. You are very considerate for other people. That doesn't mean you allow people to abuse you. However, you are more considerate about others. You think about others. You're passionate about people. I know a lot of people may say they don't like people. Why don't you like people? And people are key to relationships. So there's a disconnect somewhere else. So work through that aspect of it, because you need to be passionate about people if you want to be an influencer. Then you want to be passionate about your work, the work that you do, because remember that whatever you give, that's what comes back to you. So the thing about it is you want to be very passionate about what you do and become very good at it, so you can elevate yourself out of it. If you don't really officially like it and you want to go to another place, you want to do something else, you want to become the best at that so you can elevate yourself out of it, so that when you turn around and you get promoted, you don't look back. But you're building a thing of faithfulness, and those are muscles. So if you slack at the job that you're at because you don't like it, then when you go to your next job that you might like, then you're gonna take some of those same characteristics and patterns, because remember, habits are built. So you don't want to do that. You want to discuss problems and concerns, not people. You don't want to attack people. You talk about the problem, you talk about the concern, and you fix it. Uh, uh, what am I looking for? I'm looking for the word when you go in and you do a lot of chatter about people, that's at the lowest level of getting a problem solved. So it's never about the person, it's about the problem. How do you allow them to become more accountable? How do you get them to become part of the team? And if they can't, by everybody else connecting and you being an influencer on the rest of the team, then what happens is that person will do several things. They'll back out, they'll join in, or their voice will become more silent for the team because you're building positive energy. You want to go the extra mile. Remember, we're doing how to become an influencer. You want to go the extra mile. You want to do things beyond what you're being paid for. I know that sounds weird, but it's true. Because think about this. If my job was to be an accountant, for an example, and I did accounting and budgeting, now I can put budgeting on my resume. I can go in and go in for job interviews. I can expand my wealth of knowledge. I end up benefiting as a person by going the extra mile. And let's say even going the extra mile on your job, doing exactly what you're assigned to do as an accountant, for an example. By going the extra mile, you're giving one assignment, but you took that assignment and you made it amazing. You went deeper. You found the real core problem. Fixing, they have a shortage in a certain area, or there's a productivity problem. You identified something to help the company. That's where you become an influencer. You bring the team together. You let them know that you're not in there to hurt or harm. You're in there to help. So then you treat others with respect and compassion. I don't care if it's the person who sweeps the floor. In the office I used to work in a while ago, the guy would always, leave your door open, I'll vacuum for you. And my thing was, I was always appreciative. I always was respectful, because it takes everybody to run a company. It takes everybody to be on the team. It's not one or two. It's not just the head. You want to make sure that you treat everybody with respect and everybody with compassion. And you want to listen to understand. Listening to understand is not me listening, just waiting for a second so I can get in and tell what I got to tell or say what I need to say. It's actually me sitting back and listening to what the person is saying, and then even coming back and say, are you saying da 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 da, to make sure that you understand what they're saying before you respond. Because sometimes we can hear the beginning, but we don't hear the whole thing, and we're responding to something that someone else didn't say. So we want to listen to understand, and then we want to serve others. The greatest thing I ever learned when I was working on my master's is servant leadership. And that's a whole nother level. And if you haven't done any research on servant leadership, you might want to take some time and Google that. There was a Dr. Patterson is the one who started it, at least for me, and she has a lot of empirical stuff out there. When I say empirical, I'm saying data out there that explains information about servant leadership, because that's leadership at a higher level. And you're talking about something that will impact your life and impact your organization, is lead to serve others, to actually impact others. Because when you do that, your influence grows, their connectivity grows to you and to the mission and to the assignment. And that is just such a powerful area, and it has such a great impact on the organization. Okay, so servant leadership is really powerful. Now, be aware of your tongue and your face. Now, I have this thing about my face, and I have to be very careful about that, because my face speaks before my mouth says anything. Now, I'm a very positive person, so I do things and say things very intently when it comes to people. I've learned to do that instead of cutting them off, or to attack them, or to say things that are passive aggressive, because that's not helpful. It's harmful. And so I'm learning not to do those things. And it has actually increased my influence on people, and opened doors for me when I'm considerate about other people. And people know when you're authentic about that. So it's very important as you grow in your influence, as you expand your influence, whether it be your job, especially today, we're talking about the job in your workplace. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get a promotion there, but you will get promoted. Because as you grow in your influence, you're going to take those same qualities to the next assignment. You're going to take those same level and experiences in habits that you've built to care about other people. And then it may cause you to, whether it be go back to school or get certified or whatever, to cause you to expand and move to the next level. Because you move mentally, you move emotionally, you move in every aspect before you necessarily reach there in the natural. You know, before you get promoted, mentally you need to be promoted. Because we've all seen people that have been promoted and you wonder, how did they get there? Okay, that's that face thing. Remember I told you, watch your face, watch your mouth. Anyway, the face thing that I do. But it's very important that you are ready for the promotion, because you don't want to get there and then you're in a place where you haven't built the habits to influence teams. You don't have to be over, and when I say that, I'm saying you don't have to be the leader. You don't have to be the one who's in charge to influence the entire organization with the way you act, the way you give, the way you serve, the way you work, that you're known for this. And so those are the things that you need to consider. And because as a leader, when you become a leader, and like I said, leaders, everybody I believe is a leader. They may not be in a leadership position, but they are a leader, because the first person I need to lead is me. And so that influence, as I change my personality, as I change my life, as I grow, as I transform, it impacts others. So these things that we're talking about, or I'm lifting up to you today as to the house, is very impactful to get you there. And then the last one I'm going to mention on the house side is you manage things, not people. So be careful about going around thinking that you can manage people. When you serve people, when you influence them, when you grow them, when they know they care about, when you care about them, that's they have a greater buy-in. So consider all those things. You're going to be the one that people come to, and they're going to want to do things with you. They're going to want to do things for you. They're going to give you information. Being an influencer is a powerful situation, and when you're doing this at work, it just makes you a greater value to the entire team. So be an influencer at work and make sure that you're authentic in it. So this is Johnnie, and this is just another segment of, excuse me, mind your business.